You know what they say, talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? Well, let's just say Van Gundy's trash-talking escapade took an unexpected turn down the rabbit hole. It's a story that's become the stuff of NBA legends. The story of when the con man got more than he bargained for. And let me tell you, it's a roller coaster you won't want to miss. The year is 1996. The New York Knicks are on fire, and their head coach, Jeff Van Gundy, well, let's just say he's pretty confident. The 1996-97 New York Knicks team had all the pieces in place, a lineup so stacked that it could give any team in the Eastern Conference a run for its money. These guys were no joke, bagging a whopping 57 wins that season, and they had their sights set on the championship. But wait, here comes the twist. Coach Van Gundy, known for his fiery spirit and fearless demeanor, decided to take his confidence to a whole new level. He didn't just believe in his team, he shouted it from the rooftops. Trash talk was the weapon of choice, and oh boy, did he unleash it. But, and it's a big but, what happens when you throw shade at the wrong target? What if your smack talk ricochets in a way you never saw coming? Well, my friends, that's exactly what we are getting into. Flashback to the 1980s through the mid-1990s, a time when these two powerhouses, the Bulls and the Knicks, were like heavyweight contenders in the ring. High-stakes playoff matchups, Eastern Conference showdowns, and a boiling cauldron of competition. They had it all. Whenever these squads collided, sparks flew. And why wouldn't they? On one side, you had the likes of Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, decked out in Bulls red. In the other, Patrick Ewing and John Starks, repping the blue and orange of the Knicks. They weren't just players, they were legends, icons, etching their names into the very fabric of the game. Now let's fast forward to a pivotal moment in '94. The NBA playoffs were ablaze, and guess what? The Knicks did the unthinkable. They took down the mighty Bulls with a series score of 87-77. The 90s dynasty met its match, but hold on, because as they say, legends never stay down for long. The 95 season saw his airness soaring back into the spotlight, and with his return, the Bulls reclaimed their former glory. And in the 96 NBA season, Michael Jordan and the Bulls etched their names in the books of history. With a historical 72-10 record, they secured their fourth NBA championship, cementing their status as a true dynasty. But wait, not all stories have a fairy tale ending. The same season that saw the Bulls achieve greatness also witnessed the most humiliating defeat, a staggering 102-74 loss to the Knicks. Now, that's a twist no one saw coming, but it doesn't even match what we're about to unfold. The rivalry. Now, we all know Michael Jordan wasn't just a player. He was a phenomenon, a living legend who ruled the court. And let's be honest, his competitive fire was as scorching as a triple overtime thriller. From dishing out epic victories to laying down the law with teammates, MJ was a force that demanded respect and commanded fear. But here's the thing. Even greatness can have its dark side. The relentless trash talk, the fierce bullying of his teammates, and Jordan's fierce determination to win sometimes crossed the line. He was no stranger to controversy, and some of his tactics left more than a few rivals and teammates rubbed the wrong way. His airness could shoot, drive, and dominate like no other, making him the driving force behind the Chicago Bulls' six-title rampage. But there was one thing you just didn't do: talk smack about him or his squad. Now it's 1996. And the Bulls are on their relentless march to clinch that fifth championship ring. Standing in their way, the gritty New York Knicks, led by Coach Van Gundy. You see, Jordan had this reputation for shutting down anyone who dared to trash talk about him or his team. And when these two met, it was more than just a game. It was a showdown. And Van Gundy, well, he seemed to think he had it all figured out. Jordan's game was so lethal that even the greats like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson acknowledged his talent. They formed a unique bond, though they were already established when MJ burst onto the scene. And then there's the cautionary tale of Pat Riley, who warned his players, especially Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley, to keep their distance from Jordan. Riley's approach was more behind the scenes compared to his assistant coach, Van Gundy. Van Gundy, well, he took a different route. He voiced a controversial opinion about Jordan, branding him a con man. He decided to call out Jordan, saying that MJ only cared about winning and that he'd go to any level for a mental edge. He even claimed Jordan would buddy up with players just to tear them apart later. He called it a con game, like MJ was some kind of manipulative mastermind. Van Gundy's words were straight fire. He said, his way is to befriend them, soften them up, try to make them feel he cares about them, and he goes out there and tries to destroy them. The first step as a player is to realize that and don't go for it. Well, let me tell you, trash-talking Michael Jordan might be one of the most ill-advised decisions in sports history. You see, Jordan wasn't just about physical prowess. He was a psychological force too. Van Gundy's words ignited a fire under the Bulls, adding fuel to an already fierce rivalry with the Knicks. His plan to call out MJ, well, it backfired. And it backfired spectacularly. Fast forward to a game that will go down in history, January 21st, 1997. The Bulls squared off against the Knicks, and what unfolded was nothing short of legendary. And when the game started, you bet he had a response. Jordan took the court with a vengeance, proving that Van Gundy's words were mere sparks against his inferno. Every time Jordan scored, he shot a glance at Van Gundy, like saying, "This is for you." The first quarter was a whirlwind, with Jordan and Pippen dismantling the Knicks' defense, and when the Knicks tried to stage a comeback, Jordan slammed the door shut with a series of jaw-dropping shots. Now the Knicks fought back, cutting a 17-point deficit to a nail-biting 2 points. But Jordan was relentless, dropping 12 of his 14 fourth-quarter points when it mattered most. Shots that were out of this world. Shots that said, "I'm still the boss here." And then came that unforgettable moment. With just 27 seconds left, Jordan drained a 17-footer, sealing the victory for the Bulls. But it wasn't just the points. It was the raw emotion. MJ turned to Van Gundy, and well, let's just say he had some choice words for him. But the drama didn't end on the court. As the teams crossed paths, Jordan didn't hold back, unleashing a verbal jab at Van Gundy. In hindsight, maybe Van Gundy's strategy wasn't the smartest move. He wanted to play Jordan one-on-one, thinking it'd be the best way to handle him. But here's the thing. Michael Jordan was more than a player. He was a psychological wizard, a master of the mind games that fueled his greatness. Jordan was on another level, dropping an astonishing 51 points on the Knicks, sealing the victory with an 88-87 scoreline in the dying seconds. Van Gundy's opinion that Jordan was a con man had ignited a fire in MJ that couldn't be contained. The Bulls dominated the game, and Jordan, well, he let his game do the talking. The LA Times reported that Jordan's scream was followed by what could only be described as choice words. And trust me, those weren't words of friendship. Jordan later addressed the incident, sharing his perspective. He said, "I guess I didn't make any friends out there tonight." You see, Jordan understood that Van Gundy's comments were probably aimed at motivating his team. But MJ was clear. The court was his domain, and friendship wasn't his top priority there. In his own words, "I don't go on the court expecting to make friends." He saw basketball as a game, not a battlefield. Well, while he left no prisoners on the court, he also believed that the game stayed there. He shared, "We're only playing a game. I don't view it as a war away from the game." And as for Van Gundy's notion that Jordan might be taking advantage of his friends, well, MJ had a candid response. "If he feels like I take advantage of my friends, that's fine." In the aftermath of the clash, the Bulls' legendary coach, Phil Jackson, offered an insight into the heated battle. Jackson didn't hold back, admitting that Van Gundy's words had lit a fire within Michael Jordan, a vendetta that had played out on the court. Jackson's words hit home. "It was probably a tactical mistake by the coach of the Knicks to attack Michael in the press. I thought he went out and played with a vendetta, a score to settle." You see, Jordan's brilliance wasn't just in his skill. It was in his ability to harness his emotions and channel them into a relentless pursuit of victory. And folks, it was a lesson that Van Gundy and anyone who dared to trash talk about Michael Jordan learned the hard way. Mess with the bull, and you get the horns, as they say. And the story doesn't end here. The Chicago Bulls, led by Jordan, went on to clinch their 4th NBA championship in 1996. But that wasn't the final chapter. The iconic last dance ensued, a fitting farewell, as Jordan secured his 6th NBA championship, solidifying his status as a true basketball legend. And before you go, remember to hit that play button on the next video, because you won't want to miss out on our deep dive into why you never trash talk Tim Duncan. Until then, keep your love for the game alive, and I'll catch you in the next video.